Testing. All right, this looks like it's working. I can see my microphone, so we're going to check that properly this time. All right, so we've got the system kind of up and running. It works kind of as is, but there's a few missing things. One primarily is going to be repeating tasks. So with that, we are going to set that up. So for repeating tasks, this is actually something I've kind of avoided getting into with a lot of other things just because it tends to be kind of weedsy. So the general idea is we're going to make a repeating pattern, and hope that my dog doesn't bark too much. We're going to make a repeating pattern. I'm only going to be working on kind of weekly things for now. We'll kind of have the stuff in it for more complicated things, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now. So yeah, you're going to be able to do something where you can say, this happens Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we'll have that repeating event as one thing. And then with that, when we look at a calendar or week view or daily we'll be able to run through those, find any events that are missing, and add them to the task. I expect this is something that we're going to put into something that's kind of cache, so we're not going to be hitting that every single time. Anyways, that is the idea. All right, so let's switch over to this. All right, so, and the dog is barking. I just let him out, but he's still barking, because why not? All right, let's start things, and I'll just kind of show you where we're at right now. So if we go to localhost, we've got our tasks. So with this, when we add a task, we can put in whatever we want for the label, assign it. We have whatever its status is, which probably could be removed, and then how much we're going to be rewarded for it with coins and stars. Right now, we've just got a table listing everything, so that's going to probably change into like a week view or something like that. Kind of just see where things are at with all of those. If we go to the dashboard link and let's view that. So in here we can see the tasks. And what's great is I actually got this up and running with the Turbomorph that's coming out with Turbo 8. So I can come in here if I add a new task for Miles. Miles is stuff. Assign that to Miles, and this is worth, I don't know, 10 coins and 1 star. When I add this, then it gets automatically pushed over here. So that's all happening behind the scenes with the magic that is Turbomorph. Okay, so what we want to be doing is adding probably like a repeating tasks type thing where I can go in, set up those repeating tasks. And I probably want to do something to like turn those off or something, but everything else is going to kind of be the same, very similar to just a normal task. All right, so let's kind of start setting this up. So I want to do the normal Rails generate our spec feature, and this is going to be repeating tasks. All right, so for this scenario, add I bumped something interesting. Task. All right, so I'm actually going to quickly pull up. Okay, actually I want that. I want task spec. So yeah, there's not too much of it. Okay, we don't need to pull much of that over. So we're going to go in here. We're going to have a user equals create user with account. So we're going to have the user. We're going to say they already have a kid. And for this, we're gonna visit the root, not the rot path. All right, so we're gonna get to load the page. We're gonna click on, we'll say for now we're just gonna go repeating tasks. Oop. I might move this underneath the, into the task section or something, make it another tab. But for now, we'll just make its own complete different screen. So for the repeating task, we're going to click on add repeating task. So for this, it's actually going to be really similar to the as a task. So we're going to click, so we want to fill in title with my task. We're gonna select kid.name from assigned to I should ignore the status because I really need to do that. We're gonna fill in coins with 10, fill in stars with 1. That's gonna be most of the setup. And maybe it should have that default. Well, the default status is always going to be assigned. I actually wanted to probably remove that from the other one anyways, so I don't need that here. We're going to now do the repeating part of that. So with this, in here, we're going to want to do something like check. I'm going to say it's Monday. Check Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And here we're probably going to do stuff for enable, disable it, ending, and maybe actually even probably start date. You can set it up now and have it start working a month from now. If you're doing this for your kid and it's August and they're going to start school in September, you know, well, we'll see. So click on save repeating task. So when you do that, we're going to say expect page to have content. What do I say? My task. Sure. Let's run that, and it's going to start failing right off the bat. Perfect. All right, so let's look at that. Tasks. We're going to basically grab that whole thing as well. Repeating tasks title, and that's going to be the repeating task path. And it's missing naturally. So let's create that. Oop. Repeating tasks.english.yaml. And that is what? Title? Let's see if anything right, we'd be good. I'm gonna bring that back up because we're gonna need it more. Okay. We need to have Nope, of course it's not going to find the path. Find linker button, add repeating task. I actually did not look into yet why. Like, I would expect this to give me be exploding because of the repeating tasks controller not being around. And given that it's not going to I might as well just set that up. All right, so we're going to link to I don't know, we can actually Uber access. I was just thinking I would probably need to actually put that onto an account, but we can access this through the children's, so that's going to be fine. All right. I just assume this did the right thing, did it? Repeating task index.html.erb, repeating task.add link, new repeating task path. So I usually do it kind of split this way, which is fine because I normally have it on a much larger setup. Add repeating task. So I go to repeating tasks, repeating task controller. I thought I already set you up. Repeat task controller. Yeah, that would do it. That's why I need to definitely look into why this isn't crashing for the right reasons, because I want it to be crashing for that. I'm just going to repeating tasks. Repeating tasks controller. Repeating task controller. Repeating tasks controller. Let's bounce the server. Ooh, transition meeting and read class add link. All right, back in business. Let's see where we're at now. Okay, I'll find title. Of course, perfect. Back on the track. So repeating task, we are going to make new.html.erb, and we are going to make form.html.erb. All right. So in here, we are just going to render the form. All right, so we're looking for the title field. Assigned to, and I'm actually going to just go into the task and grab that out of here. Current account, repeating task, dot assigned to. Cool. And this is where we should start getting assigned to ID is nil. Perfect. All right. So for that, we're going to want to go into here and do a repeating task equals. And I like consistency, so I'm going to jump over to here and see what we did for new. We just did a new on it. And for this, we're just validating that it's there by trying to grab it. Okay. Repeating task.new. And looky, we don't have anything there. Perfect. Okay. So let's make that model. Rails G model. Repeating task. All right, so this has a title, which is a string. It is assigned to, which is a references. Don't have a status. Don't have a scheduled start and end. We do have coins, which is an integer. In this system, I've decided not to have decimal stuff, so you can't buy something for 2.5 coins or whatever. So this, otherwise I'd have to use a float, and then we'd have to get a whole bunch of problems. We get money math. So I'm just avoiding that by making everything integers. All right, so we have stars. So now I'm just thinking about how I want this to store its data. So I could do something, put a field Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I could see this becoming more complicated in the future. So I probably should make this into some sort of like a JSON B structure of some type. But for right now, I'm just going to do days. And this is going to be string array of strings. So I have a repeating task. That's probably good for now. Let's get this working. There's a bunch of things that we'd want to do to make this better, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Days is going to be blank. Stars and coins, I'm going to leave that blank. Let me see what I did for the tasks. I just did the title. Okay. I do the same thing. And we'll flesh that out later. Assign to, and its class name is kid. All right, so the title is null false. Assign to is null false. Foreign key, that's going to be to table kids. Coins is null false as well, but it's going to have a default of 0. And stars is the same. Days is going to be null false. It's going to be array true, and default is blank array. Okay. So now we can migrate that. Let's see where we're at now. Nope, I didn't read that. All right, that's better. repeating task on new, repeating task. That's going to feed into, oh, was that, that's in the index. So Rails has a super helpful thing where if you don't have your action defined, but you do put in so new.html.arb, it's going to not blow up in your face. That's actually why this works here. If I actually comment this out, I believe this should still get to that. Yeah, see, it was able to progress through the index page. And that's just because I do have that index template defined, which is handy, but it bites me more often than it doesn't. So I kind of wish it didn't have that. But all right, let's actually, it's from the task side. Save myself a little bit of typing. We'll throw that in. Let's give me my task, my coins. Now it's going to yell about Monday. Great. Is there a Ruby thing to get me a list of the days of the week? I bet there is. Date, day names. Is that a thing? Oh, beautiful. I'm not going to hard code it myself then. All right. So for date, day names, so I'm actually going to put this into a container. And then for the day names dot each, do day name. All right, so in here we're going to have a div class. That's going to be a flex, and we'll do, I don't know, a gap x of 2, just put a little bit of space between it. And actually this is going to be, it's going to end up being a label or something. Anyways, so in here we are going to do form.checkbox. I always want to do checkbox, not check_box. So this is going to be, what did I call this? This is called days. So there's a checkbox called days. This is multiple true, and this is going to be day name and nil, I think. And here we're going to spit out tag.div day name. I'm just going to take a look at that visually, make sure that's sane. Monday, and then what do these checkboxes look like? Checkbox, values Monday, name, repeating task days, ID. Yep, that looks about right. Perfect. Okay, but this actually should be a label. So let's fix that. We're going to do a form.label. This is for days, and I'm trying to remember how to. Go check this because I think it's going to be wrong, but. So by wrapping this whole thing into a label, it means like, so if we go over here right now, if I click on Sunday, it doesn't do anything. So we want to wrap this into a label. We actually want these to be items centered. So that just lines them up, and the label is still wrong. So label is for repeating task days, and the idea is repeating task days Sunday. So can I just do day name here? Nope. What does that look like? For repeating task days. I never can remember this. Rails table options. Object name, method, content options, options block. Okay. What are the options? Tags, label, that doesn't help me very easily here. That's where I am, yeah. Label, object method options. Is that where it just was? Oh, I don't want to get stuck on this. I'm going to leave it for now. All right. The one might not work where. Okay. All right. And they're not finding it, but that's good. That means we got through things. So in here, well, no, that's not good because it's missing that. And for consistency, if we take a look at what we did for the tasks, we created it. We can basically grab this part too, because that's this is doing our ACL. So if I try and make an assignment for another kid, then we're not going to find it on the current account, and it's going to blow up in our face. And it's gonna need repeat tasks, task params. All right, so for this, we're going to be permitting kind of all the same stuff pretty much. Oof. All right, so we can do the title. Is that what we called it? The title? Yep. Title, assigned to ID. We don't have a status. We're skipping the scheduled on, the due on. We're keeping the coins and stars, and we're adding days, but that's an array. All right. Trying to find my task, which is not, and that's because in here, well, we can do it here. We're going to just do tasks.each. Oh, let's just render it. Render. Just do render tasks for now. And it's going to complain about nil, hopefully. Yep. Tasks. equals current count dot repeating tasks. All right. So has many tasks for kids and has many repeating tasks. And now it's going to play with kids. Yep. Repeating task is missing. And actually, I'm going to match what we did in the tasks index. We actually did a tasks row. I'm going to do basically the same thing in here. So for new, status title kids coins, I'm going to drop the status because we don't need that. And this is going to be repeating tasks row. Collection is repeating. And now it's missing row. And again, we're going to kind of grab that from here. So this is going to be repeating. Actually, we're not going to have status. Title assigned to coins, stars. We don't need that. Here, I'm just going to spit out repeating task dot days. Dot, I don't know. Join it with comma. So we'll go in here and say they're going to be doing Duolingo French. That's going to be assigned to Miles, and that's going to be 5 coins, and I want them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We got nothing. Well, at least they don't lie. Let's see if that's in the database. It is. That's assigned to Miles. That looks like it's happening right. That's that. And my repeating tasks looks right. For funsies, let's just throw it out here. Current count repeating tasks. Let's see what that looks like over here. Don't inspect it. So it does have it. So here in index, we're doing repeating tasks row. Repeating task row is there. Let's just throw a debugger on somewhere. And it's not doing it. Interesting. It's been done 0 times. Okay. Render partial, repeating task, collection, at repeating tasks. Did I typo that? Yes. Yes, I did. And fix that. And we passed. Great. Let's just see this on our live one. Duolingo miles, 5 coins, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Boom. All right, let's commit that. All right, so repeating task controller has that stuff. Looks right. That looks right. That looks all right. That looks reasonable. That looks reasonable. The form is something all right, except for that to do. The row is fine. Title kid coin stars, nothing. All right. Form, yep. Okay. Oh, features. Okay. Okay. So with that done, okay. So with that working, what I want to be able to do is, okay, so for the tasks view, so when I view the tasks, what I want to do is I want to be viewing start a task, complete a task, pending tasks are hidden, users can approve task, users can reject task, which is to do, complete a task, reward kids, cool. Okay, so in here, so I want to make a small change with this. I don't want to view tasks. So if I go to the kids dashboard, I view the task for the kid, and this here renders kid.task.kidVisible tasks. I want to do something like tasks for and date.current. Something like that is what I'm looking to do. What? Date task for doesn't exist. Right. So for the kid, def, and in here, what was it? Tasks for. And I'm actually going to ignore that. And I'm just going to pull in task.kidVisible. That seems weird. Oh, what does that put on transaction? That's weird. Bad jump 2. All right. Much better. Okay. So the reason for that is I want to make a scene. So that there, like, all these things shouldn't care what exactly it means that it's a task is for. And yeah, so that gives me a scene to work on stuff. So now what I can do is I can go into the kid spec. In the model, I can go in here and go describe tasks for. Do it gets tasks without a date. All right, so for all of this, I know I'm going to want to have a kid. Let's make sure that looks good. It should. I don't know why it wouldn't. Oh, needs an account. That's why we do this. Okay, so what's this going to look like? So I'm going to create a task. And I'm going to assign to the kid, and it's going to be scheduled on nil explicitly. That's the thing with the test. You want to put in these like explicit things. I don't care about anything else except that this is a test. That's nil. So I can go in here and I can go expect kid.tasks for date.today, date.current, to include So a lot of times I'll do this. I'm grabbing all the tasks, I'm grabbing their ID and making sure that includes that task. And this should pass because this is already what it's already doing. Great. Okay. It gets tasks with a future date. Oh, sorry, with a past. I might change this. I'll do it for this now. All right, so scheduled on date yesterday, and it should still be included, which we're not really doing any filtering or anything, so it will. Okay, and then we go and we're going to kind of do the opposite of this. It does not include tasks with a future date. All right. And failure. Expected 26, not to include 26. All right, cool. So this is really our cutoff date. All right, so when I'll task, so we also going to need to put a few more in here where like, so not completed, and not pending. But anyways, task.kidVisible dot where, so in here we're going to do scheduled on, and this is going to be anything until the cutoff date. And if we do that, that passes, so we're good. This passes, so we're good, and this I think is going to fail. Yep. All right. So, and I can remember the OR syntax on this, but I think it's task.where schedule on is nil. All right, good. Actually, just curious. Puts kid.tasks for date.current.toSQL. Select task from task where task.assigned to 54 and task.status in yada yada yada. So the parenthesis on this is where I go, because I think I actually want this over here. Task from task were assigned to ID, and task.scheduleOn. Task.scheduleOn is less than today, or it's null, and task.status isn't whatever. Yes, that does look the way I want. Now, we do have a little bit of timing issue here because it is on the 15th, but this is with time zones. It's the 16th. So that's something I'll have to, as always, look at. Or we can just ignore for the time being. Okay. So this now gives me all the tasks that are scheduled, unscheduled, or scheduled on today or before today. Okay. Okay. So that's working the way I want. Now, what's not on here is the missing events. So based on the repeating ones. So for that, I actually am going to change this from task for. I'm going to make something else, which is the schedule for. So for here, I want to add missing and then tasks for cutoff. Ooh. All right, so that add missing. Well, let's test this out. So first off, I can go in here and we can move this up into here and do that. And if we go back over to the task, this should all work still. Beautiful, good. Okay, and you know what? I gotta be right back. My dog is going crazy. All right. So I really want the whole schedule for that current date. Actually, it's kind of, with this, it's kind of starting and ending. So, yeah, that makes sense. So, starting, ending. We're going to say that can be nil, and ending or equals starting. So if we just give a single date, it's for the one. Anyways, I'm probably moving too far ahead. Oop. All right. All right, so the schedule for is almost gonna be like very, very simple anyways. It's just gonna be create missing events, starting, ending, and then I don't know, I might have to fiddle with this. I'm not sure about this. This is going to be when we get to the place where we are doing the calendar for the admin view. That's where we're going to probably have to do something here. So actually right now, I'm just going to change this all back to cutoff date as a single. And I'm just going to leave this as a note. Okay. So create, and this really is going to be the thing that we want to do. This is really mostly the schedule for is really just kind of a helper. So don't even worry about testing that, to be frank. We're going to hit it different ways. So for this, it's going to, it will create an event or a task that is missing. All right, so for this, what do we do? So we're going to have a repeat. This is going to be create a repeating task. And so it's going to be a repeating task. It's going to be assigned to the kid. And days is going to be date, day names. So it's every single day. So this is going to run just all the time. And then I'm going to go expect kid.schedule for date.current dot tasks equals that dot first expect task dot title dot to equal repeating task dot title, and we're going to say expect task dot schedule on dot to equal date dot current. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Create missing events doesn't exist. Good call. Okay. Oh, actually, I'm testing the wrong thing here. Kid.create missing events. Actually, so I'm going to have that return that list of created events. Yeah. All right. So it's nil, so let's return an array. Wow. So kid.repeating events.each. So repeating events dot each do we want to do the repeating event dot we want to get its schedule. And we want to get its schedule, and then we want to get the schedule to the cutoff date. So that's a list of things that should be. Now this is going to be more so for the range, but we'll ignore that for a sec. So this is going to give me a list of dates, which in this case might be null. So what I'm going to be doing is existing events. Existing event dates is going to be kid dot existing task. I keep calling it event because of repeating stuff. It's yeah. Repeating, it's just going to be repeating tasks, blah, and repeating task. And so I've got the dates. We've got existing task dates. So this is going to be kid.tasks. So I want the tasks that are from this repeating event, which means that we need a new. So what we actually want is repeating task dot tasks that are from this. So we got all the tasks that are from this, and we want to look the scheduled on the missing dates is dates minus the existing dates. So for each one of those missing dates, we want to do a, we will make a new task. task dot. So this is going to be associated with the repeating task. Actually, you know what? This is something that does exist, but we're going to change that. We're going to set the scheduled on equals date and task.save, and we're going to return that task. All right. So we're going to build a new task. That's a clone basically of that repeating task. We're going to set the date. We're going to save it, which actually, yeah, we'll do that for now. And then we're going to flatten this whole thing. And kid is missing. Yep. Get schedule for repeating task. Yep. And there's a cutoff. Okay, so with this, I did a little bit of looking around at some different things that I could be using for this. So I'm going to actually do bundle add. Oh, what was it? Ice cube. It was one of the popular options. So in here, we're going to do a schedule. And that is ice cube schedule.new. And we're going to do this on the cutoff date. And we're going to do the rule equals ice cube rule dot, this is weekly, I think, weekly, dot, I think this was, actually I think I looked at it over here. Let me see if I can pull that up. Weekly, all right. So here we can do schedule dot add recurrence rule ice cube weekly dot day. That's going to be days, and we'll see if that handles that properly. We'll see. And to get the actual, I'm not really getting the schedule if I do this though. Yeah, I don't know if I like that name. Anyways, schedule dot occur. This is cutoff. And I'm just going to put that date just to see what it does. Sunday. Yep, it doesn't like it. Okay, so we're going to do a little something in here. Private def. birthday symbols. I don't know. So we're going to map that. We are going to get each one, and we are going to downcase and to sim. All right, the repeating task doesn't have a task. Okay, great. Has many tasks. And that's going to have a problem. Yep. Great. Let me just see if it's still running properly. It is. Great. Okay, so we're going to do a Rails G migration, add relationship between tasks and repeating tasks. All right, so for this, we want to, what is it? Add reference. So tasks, and it's going to have repeating task. Null on this can be true, and foreign key and it can just be true, I think. Let's see if that's going to work. So this is going to basically, right now we could make all the tasks, but we couldn't have a relationship between them. So we didn't know which tasks belong to what. So that does now set that up. Great. So now if we go to our task, we can say it belongs to repeating task and optional. Okay. Save doesn't exist. And kid 25. Yep, that seems reasonable to me. Assign to must exist. All right, that's because build in here doesn't work right. So that's on repeating tasks. Tasks dot build. Can I don't know if that's supposed to be built. So I can go, I think build task. It's undefined. So I'm actually going to just yeah, we'll do that. Repeating task, build task. Tasks. Task equals tasks dot build. Task dot title equals title. Task dot assigned to ID equals assigned to ID. Task dot status is leaving it. Scheduled on is legal due coins. Actually, when we get something like this, just to kind of make things a little bit more clear, a lot of times I'll do this. So the nice thing with this is I will, when we tap this, we're going to return. So we don't have to create the variable, and it's just kind of a little more implied. What task equals repeating task dot build task. Task ID is nil. Three, repeating task one, assigned, status assigned, scheduled, due date coins, created at, updated at. That looks all good. I want this to be a map. So that's a map. So that's going to return the repeating task. And this is also going to be a map. Much better. All right. So that is now all working. And actually, if we did this, that's actually still going to be all working. But then will be a problem over here, because immediately we're going to say, well, don't create duplicates. It won't create a duplicate task. All right, so repeating task is that. And existing task is repeating task dot build task. Existing task dot update scheduled at date current. All right, so for this, we're going to create that task for today and save it. And in here, we're going to expect to be empty. And it's not. Especially if we do scheduled on. All right, so let's put that check back in to not do it for existing tasks. Huh. So it has an existing task and dates dot inspect. Can I do okay. So let's go into the get schedule, key off, and I want this to be map, because this is actually designed for date times. And I don't care about the time, I'm just doing by date. And let's see if this still works. Yes. Let's see if this still works. Yes. Great. Okay. So now when all right, so let's pull this up. So I have, today is Friday. Server's not running. Let's start that up. Okay. So Miles, Zachary has do stuff, and that's it. So if I come here and add a repeating task, and I say Duolingo German, is it? I don't know if it's German short for that. We'll see. It doesn't matter. Coins is 5, stars is 1. And I want that on, actually today it thinks it's going to be Saturday. So I'm going to put it on Saturday just in case. So that repeating, so we got that on there. If I refresh this, I've got Duolingo German. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Still good. If I finish this, and reload, I still don't have it. Perfect. All right. Okay. So I think that works well. This doesn't have the map yet, but sort of the calendar yet. So I expect that for that, we're gonna then have to change that to have not just a single cutoff date, but actually have a start date and end date. But with this, we do have repeating things that are flexible. And so one actually thing. So with the repeating date, it's gonna be assigned to kid. I also want this to touch then. When I touch this, the kid will update, which might create more tasks. In the process, that will also, well, we'll see what happens here. So that means I should be able to come into here, and if I split this off, so Zachary, if I go to the repeating task, add a repeating task, and I say dog poop. That's Zachary. Coins is 15, and that's for every Saturday. And if I create this, dog poop is there. And if I go to the tasks, dog poop, nice. That is coming purely from the awesomeness that is Turbo 8. So what's happening there is when I touch this kid, which sounds bad saying it that way, when I touch the kid, this here does a broadcast refresh. That broadcast refresh will then basically refresh this page. When it refreshes the page, it's going to create all of the tasks that are appropriate, and then it's going to do a turbo morph to push them all in. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really a fantastic way that this all works. Yeah, anyways, I've kind of been intimidated doing repeating events just because of how complicated they can get. I think it's actually worked out pretty well. It's not too complicated. Kind of see how it's going to go for adding in the larger range. I guess where it would be more complicated is if I did like a month view and I created a bunch of events for this. Yeah, so what I'm going to need to do is on the admin side, when you're looking at repeating events, it's going to have to not actually create the events when you're looking at that calendar. But yeah, I have to think about that a little bit. But for the individual days, it's fine. The problem is that if you do a whole month out, and then you change the repeating event or do anything like that, I can see it kind of messing things up. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's a pretty good place to stop for today. All right. Take care.